Last time on The Great Ace Attorney 2.
Yeah, nothing leaks from an Altamont meter. No coins, no gas, no nothing.
I really don't know how to do the wahoo bit, because it just feels...
Wahoo!
With that voice, it just feels really wrong.
Remember that he's also 23 years old.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I think it's 20. Check the court record.
It was. It was. Yeah, 23! 23!
The life of a drone bee.
He's grown
It's
up
hard.
in a very rough neighborhood, I suppose.
Yeah, yes.
We found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly.
Something the same size as the threepenny bit?
The item in question is this.
What? Have you been inhaling gas? It's a bar of soap.
It certainly looks nothing like a threepenny bit, I must say. Mr. Naruhodo, you need to turn it round.
Oh, my mistake. Goodness gracious, I would lose my own head if it weren't screwed onto my shoulders. Thank you, Mr. Susato.
Are you referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap there?
That's right, a depression that's approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter.
Have you
It's
lost
close to
your
mine.
blooming mind? How can you put soap through the coin slot of our gas meter?
We've all been led to believe that the strychnine poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspeare was in the tea brought to him by Mr. Natsume, but that's conjecture at best.
Objection!
The victim has testified that nothing else passed his lips that night. There is no other possibility.
As I said, the situation has changed.
I have altered the deal.
Because, in fact, some of Mr. Natsume's tea was left at the scene.
Objection!
A ludicrous claim. Scottish Yard detectives investigated the scene exhaustively.
Yeah, I'll vouch for them as well. Completely went through everything with a fine-tooth comb. We couldn't possibly have missed anything.
Unless it was teacup size.
So, on the night in question, Mr. Shamspeare, having no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Natsume in order to make his fake coins. There were 2 bars of soap on the window ledge when my judicial assistant and I investigated the scene.
That's right, and we only borrowed one of them.
Which means that even as we speak, some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime, frozen solid in a bar of soap outside Mr. Shamspeare's window.
Oh no, it appears that it has mysteriously disappeared.
Oops, I dropped it.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Disillusion Plays The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, where we play the games and do the voices.
Yay, you remembered this time.
I was going to self-congratulate, but thank you anyway. Just before we hop on in, I'm Pete.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Taylor.
Nice. And don't forget that if you do like what we do, there's the magic words that we say quite often, the self-shilling that we do, the horrendous, if you like our video, why don't you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell so you get notified of our future uploads. I mean, they're quite regular, but you'll get a little notification on your phone. It's fun.
Yeah, it's all good. Like, we're here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I ruined the sad moment last time.
Oh,
I
right,
ruined
it's about
the
Cosmo,
moment.
yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I mean,
I never had the chance to ask him exactly why, but he clearly had a plan.
I will say, just before we get back into the moment,
You're ruining the moment.
Well, I know, this is what I mean. That's what I'm saying. I want to do it now, just before we completely ruin them, before I completely ruin any further chance of getting back into the moment. I have still found myself very surprised that we haven't had the magic talking sword yet.
To be honest, yes, I have expected some kind of spirit of Kazuma to appear somewhere.
Oh, yes.
Like, I'm not complaining, but it just feels like it is a departure from the Ace Attorney norm, so to speak.
I mean, however, Susato is just a judicial assistant, not a spirit medium in training.
No, I know, but I was expecting Kazuma's spirit to talk to us through the sword. But I suppose we do have one bit of supernatural.
Natural.
Natural.
We do have
What's
some.
that? What's supernatural?
Sorry, we do have one bit of supernatural sort of influence, and that would be her book. The fact that she's able to recall just about any bit of information from that book That is a full-on Wikipedia.
The book of knowing.
It's like she's got the entire Encyclopedia Britannica up her sleeve. And let me tell you, if you've ever seen the full set of Encyclopedia Britannica, it is massive.
It's huge.
It is massive.
Her handwriting must be so tiny to fit. So it's such a small book. It's such a small book.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you hit the nail on the head. Maybe it is that she's just written all of the text extremely small into the one book.
There's some form of Japanese shorthand, I guess.
I think she's read more books by 16 than I've probably read in my entire life.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I forget she's 16. Chuffing out.
Right.
Oh my god. Anyway, Ryunosuke.
Okay.
I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him.
And you're doing wonderfully, Naruhodo-san.
Well, I get by.
Oh, she's so cute. I have no doubt that Kazuma-sama would say exactly the same if he were here with us.
Thank you, Susato-san. Thank you.
I feel bad for spoiling it.
You didn't spoil it. We ran out of time.
I could have left it.
No. Right. So what are we doing? I guess.
Well, we're investigating some more
Oh yes.
because the trial's been suspended because they need to test for. They found out that the coins were tea.
We're frozen tea.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they need to run an analysis.
And here I am expecting to be able to press the button to illuminate all of the areas that we can investigate.
I'm just thinking it's rather empty, but of course it's a flashback and he's not established yet, I guess.
But I'm just thinking it's the wrong game. Like, I'm expecting to be able to press a button and it goes like boom and shows all of the investigated areas.
God.
Like in Danganronpa.
No, but if our viewers want to see what that game is, they can tune in on Saturdays.
Yes.
Or they could just look at the existing uploads.
I heard there's another room behind that door.
Yes, it's my bedroom, Naruhodo-san, as you well know.
Shall I help you unpack your things?
Shaky.
Shaky.
That's very kind, but no, thank you.
There are certain things that a man such as yourself should not learn.
Well, I think she said before, is like a man should never enter a maiden's bedroom
Yes.
or something. Your luggage looked very heavy. You sure I can't help you move it?
I'm loving this sort of pickup line, Naruhodo, trying to get into a girl's bedroom. Subtle way of getting in there. That's very kind, but really, no, thank you.
Oh no.
A young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets.
That's
you
it.
know.
The bittersweet secrets. Which is bittersweet?
You might read my
The
diary.
only secret I have is the 5-yen banknote hidden on the backside of my Daruma doll.
Oh no, I pilfered that last week.
Oh no, sorry.
Oh yeah, no,
I had to borrow that, my dear fellow.
Yeah, it's more likely Herlock would
Right.
find that.
I guess we'll talk to Susato a bit more and then we'll head off somewhere else.
Okay.
Because we've investigated in here in previous episodes. I
It
think
was quite a shock earlier today, wasn't it?
it was Danganronpa.
Danganronpa?
Great Ace Attorney 1 actually, where we investigated the empty room, so I'm presuming
Yeah.
nothing's different.
When the victim himself turned up in court and took the stand.
I know.
Not only that, but then finding out that he is actually a barefaced gas thief as well.
Yes, that was certainly a surprise to us all. For a while, it seemed as though everyone had quite forgotten about Soseki-san poisoning the tea.
Careful of your phrasing, Susato-san. He didn't poison anything. And there's more to this Mr. Shamspeare than we yet know. I'm sure of it.
Mr. Shamspeare certainly wasn't the noble, upstanding man everyone thought he was at first.
That sounds a little bit like slander. What's become of him, actually?
Are you suggesting that Mr. Shamspeare is a sham?
I was told he'd be returning to the hospital ward where he was receiving treatment.
I thought you said hospital wood. I'm like,
My goodness.
I didn't read the dialogue for a second then. I'm like, the hospital wood. I'm like, wait, what?
He's receiving some
Oh, is he going to the
wood.
body hospital then?
I'm receiving some hospital wood. Oh, cheeky!
Goodness.
Oh, which one is that?
Let me consult my book.
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Let me see. Ah, yes. He's at St. Bartholomew's, or Bart's as Londoners call it.
We know that place, don't we?
Yes, we visited Miss Green there yesterday. It's the same
I've slept since then.
It's the same hospital to which she was taken.
Oh yes, I've slept since then on my futon on the floor in the cold bedroom.
Oh, that's correct. I remember we went and rifled through her things right in front of her while she was watching us while making eye contact.
That's it.
Ah, yes, after Soseki-san stabbed her in the back.
Careful of your phrasing, Miss... Do be careful of your phrasing, Naruhodo-san. He didn't stab anyone.
Perhaps we both owe Soseki-san an apology. St. Bartholomew's. Yes, we should probably visit the hospital later. So, we know that Soseki-san took tea to the victim on the night in question. But, as he isn't the culprit, then obviously...
Yes, the poison surely wasn't in the tea.
But if that's the case, how on earth did the poison get into Mr. Shamspeare's body?
I'm sure we'll find a clue at the scene. There must be something in Mr. Shamspeare's room that will help solve the mystery.
Oh, sure it would be a shame if it were to be cordoned off as a crime scene that you couldn't look into because, you're not supposed to and you're civilians. Well, naturally, Scottish Yard detectives have been over the place already.
I do like looking over and seeing Sarah's little chuckle, like a little shoulder.
I can't.
Scottish Yard.
Every time. We've done it for so long, but every time it just makes me chuckle when we say Scottish Yard.
Again, when we finally get Disillusion Plays merch, what we're going to have is we're going to have a coffee mug that has Scotland Yard, but then the Scotland's going to be crossed out and it's going to have Scottish written above.
It's Scottish Yard sunshine.
But it couldn't hurt for us to have another look around, I think.
Definitely. And I'm desperate to know the outcome of the investigation into the tea left in the bar of soap.
Well, if we run into Inspector Gregson, we could ask him about that.
I'm seeing nothing.
Kazuma Asogi, the best friend I ever had, and a lawyer with such promise.
Oh, the music's faded out.
He really saved my bacon in that horrible incident just before we left Japan. I can still picture him now, looking so fierce and determined in court. And then after the trial...
Sorry.
It wouldn't surprise me
his
at all.
strong, muscular shoulders.
I mean, I can see them together. I think they'd make a really cute couple. I can see it. I think they'd be sweet.
My goodness, it seems that Sarah's been looking into fan fiction on the internet.
What can I say?
Sarah is the author of the fan fiction.
Oh no, the whole oh god, I don't even remember. What's her name?
What's her name?
Genocide Jill's normal persona.
Toko.
Toko. Yes, she's just living out the Toko fantasy in real life.
Sans the serial killer.
I guess she doesn't murder people.
I don't go around killing boys with scissors.
No.
And then after the trial, that crazy idea he came up with. As a stowaway?
Yes, you can fit inside my trunk if you curl up small enough, I'm sure. No one will know.
Kazuma, won't you tell me why? Why go to these lengths so that I can accompany you to Great Britain?
Well, it's been on my mind ever since we got through that trial. That you really ought to go into law. Be a defense lawyer. You've got a natural talent for it. Believe me, I guarantee it.
So now, I've seen this argument before, but I'm interested in your guys' opinion. Do you think Kazuma is Edgeworth's ancestor, or do you think he's, oh god, who's the other one?
Von Karma.
He's
not Von
Karma.
Karma.
How dare you?
Oh god, it was Edgeworth or someone else, or is it like Maya's ancestor or something?
I would argue something to do with Maya, because he's kind of obviously similar circumstances that, he has a partner. Nick's got Maya as a mentor.
Oh, I suppose he can't be anyone's ancestor, can he? Because he's dead.
No, true. If there's no family, then yeah.
Yeah, he'd have to have.
He'd had to have had some kiddywinkles. He might have been a bit young for that.
I don't know, not back then. You know, but then if
maybe.
you didn't have 5 children by 20, you were considered an old maid.
Well, yeah.
But I've never even thought about becoming a lawyer.
Well, I can't force you, obviously. But you'll have to decide for yourself. But anyway, London is the cultural capital of the world. The city at the forefront of everything.
I'd say with that bandana, he might be an ancient ancestor of Solid Snake.
Can't hurt for you to see it with your own eyes.
No, that's true.
I suppose, though, if you were to become a lawyer, then one day...
One day what?
Oh, no. Never mind.
Hmm?
Don't leave me hanging like that, bro.
It's probably like they could go into law together.
Naruhodo-san?
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about Kazuma.
Yes. He's forever in my thoughts, too. To change the Japanese judicial system for the better. That was his dream. And that's why he so desperately wanted to come to Great Britain to study, of course.
Yes, that's right. But
Yes?
I do wonder if his true intentions lay elsewhere sometimes. I don't know. The thought just takes hold of me every now and then, that's all.
Oh.
Oh.
Naruhodo-san, what do you mean by Kazuma-sama's true intentions?
Oh.
New animation.
I say, I wasn't expecting that animation.
Is he going to do that like 10,000 times in this?
I mean this.
Like with the chains.
His katana?
I never expected to inherit this sword after Kazuma passed away, of course.
No, I know. It was because I asked you to take it.
When I have it at my side in court, I feel as though it gives me courage.
Yes.
Actually, the night before he died, he told me a little about the sword. Karuma? Sephiroth's sword.
Yeah,
They don't advance. Okay.
That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that.
Is it? Wait, we say Kazuma, so it should be Karuma then.
Oh, Karuma. Oh, maybe.
What?
So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling.
What were you getting at before, Taylor, with the Karuma thing? His sword's called Karuma.
He's called Kazuma. It's Karuma. Kazuma.
Well,
Karuma.
if you don't say Kazuma, so it doesn't make sense to say Karuma, so then surely it's Kazuma and Karuma.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Rather than Karuma. Right, I see.
On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain.
Something you have to do?
Yes. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me.
Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Boy, it sure would be inconvenient if you were to pass away before you told me what the thing was that you wanted me to help you with.
I want you to know that I can hear you. What did he mean by something very important that I have to do?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I mean, I
had
am in
hoped
the
that
sword, but I'm not going to tell you.
I had hoped that the answer to that question would become apparent when we arrived here, but as yet, I've not found a single clue.
I see.
Okay,
I do really,
cool.
I really, really want to find out what it was. I'm like itching to find out.
Okay. Oh, there's quite a few places we can go to.
Oh my.
Let's go see Shams.
Oh my dear fellow. You have rather caught me at an inconvenient moment. You caught me with my trousers down.
I was just about to say the same thing. You caught me with my pants down.
Oh, Bruno and Susie! Hooray! You're back!
Did you not see us on the way upstairs?
Oh, I was far too busy reinventing my new recipe for tea. Hello, Iris. You're in fine spirits as always, I see. I am, and you look as immaculately presented as ever, Susie. Oh, you flatter me. Well, you couldn't have come at a better time. I've just made a pot of tea. I'll get some cups.
I would like to request mine without poison, please.
Who do you think I am? The suspect from
Really?
your trial? I resent that remark,
Really?
Bruno.
Thanks, Iris. But actually, what is that foul smell?
Oh,
I'll
don't...
have you know, that foul smell entered the room only when you did.
That's not a very nice thing to say about Hurley, Bruno.
So perhaps
That
you should...
smell is the smell of genius.
Aha! Aha! The Wanderers return at last. Where on earth have the pair of you been?
We've been in court?
Oh, for Mr. Moustache's case? That was today, was it? That was today, was
I'm
it?
sure I mentioned it only yesterday, Mr. Sholmes.
Well, you know
but
how
yesterday
I-
is not this morning now, is it?
I'm sure you think you did. Well, we can laugh about it now. So, tell me, how did the trial go?
Reasonably well so far. We've managed to escape without a guilty verdict, at least.
Really? I would have liked to see it. And I must pass the time of day with Mr. Reaper again. It's been too long.
Is Lord Van Zeeks an acquaintance, Mr. Sholmes?
Naturally. There's not a person in the world who doesn't know my name, Mr. Naruhodo.
Not quite what I asked, but still.
I'm pointing at your assistant.
Mr. Sholmes, whatever is that odor?
Odor? Did you say odor? I don't smell anything.
Yes, what is it? It's faint, but absolutely awful.
I mean, are you trying to say that I smell, Mr. Naruhodo? I'll have you know that I'm quite certain that I applied my aftershave today. Oh, indeed. Just like you said. That's the scent of victory, my dear fellows. Victory in science.
Really? It kind of
But
smells
Miss
like
Vic-
you've soiled yourself.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear.
All right, I'll bite. What's he up to now?
What am I
Glad
never-
you asked internally, my dear fellow.
Internally, very loudly.
So, what is that indescribably foul smell?
Honestly, Mr. Naruhodo, you wound me. Ah, well.
He's opened a can of surströmming inside.
Most probably this, I would say.
What is that?
My dear fellow, it is, of course, my latest invention. A chemical
Stinky
test
juice?
that can identify whether or not a tea is genuine at the drop of some tea.
Oh, my.
Yes, yes, yes. Save your applause. There are some unscrupulous sorts manning the stalls along some of London's less frequented streets. They regularly sell what purports to be high-quality tea, but is in fact merely dyed leaves of drab flavor.
Well, that's certainly unsavory behavior.
So, when one is presented with what appears to be black tea, one must be careful, Iris.
Uh-oh.
At the ready, Hurley.
Why do you need the goggles?
Because she's going to fire it out of her enormous gun.
Oh, there's just this slight little side effect that if you merely just get a whiff of it, you might go blind.
If you smell it, you go blind.
I don't know.
You become completely sterile.
Oh my goodness.
Let us add a drop of my
Well, there goes my legacy.
See, let us add a drop, and then all of the Ace Attorney games just poof out of existence.
Yes, it's like,
Oh no!
Shoot.
Let us add a drop of my chemical to this cup of tea here. Do you see what happens?
Ooh.
It's turned completely black.
I'm sure this won't be relevant at all.
What a foul odour it's giving off.
Do you mind? Indeed. The blacker the tea becomes, the more foul the odor. The better the The blacker the tea becomes and the more foul the odor, the better the tea is.
Oh.
It would appear that this cup was a particularly fine Darjeeling.
Emphasis on was, I suppose. That's very ingenious. But what do you do with that black liquid now?
Well, I'm afraid it's a waste now. Why, dispose of it naturally. Surely you wouldn't like to drink it, would you?
There does seem to be a rather obvious problem with your invention, Mr. Sholmes.
Well, you're not supposed to use it on the full cup at once, my dear. You would use it on but a drop.
I don't think he's worked that bit out yet.
Well, perhaps I was just trying to demonstrate to you both. Honestly, in practice...
You could say he needs to find a smaller vessel to hold the tea.
Hence why this chemical test is merely a test, my dear madam.
Right.
The point is, we are entering a new era of science. In the world of criminal investigation, also.
Yes, forensic science. Oh, these are such exciting times.
I regularly engage in this scientific experimentation alongside my unofficial consulting detective work. The Herlock-Sholmes method will be the foundation upon which modern investigative technique is based. This little tea indicant was a happy byproduct of my ongoing forensic science research.
Forensic science? I suppose I should find out more about that.
For instance, have you ever heard of something called luminol?
Oh, God.
So your tea test, is that an example of forensic science?
Indeed
I just said that.
Indeed it is. An essential tool in cases that hinge on the knowledge of whether some tea is of high or inferior quality.
Not a huge number of cases, then.
My dear fellow, how long have you lived here in Great Britain? I'll have you know that tea is considered very important
Well, actually,
over here.
if you think about the chronology of this case, then not very long at all.
Perhaps a more practical example is required. Fingerprints. Not yet accepted in our courts as evidence, I might add. Really, we are dragging our heels there.
I hadn't even heard of them until recently.
I did wonder what the swirly patterns on my fingers were.
Which is partly why I undertake research in this field myself, of course.
Does that mean you're studying fingerprints, Mr. Sholmes?
There are others in that field already, and I abhor the company of inferior minds.
Oh, dear.
That's why my roommate is a 10-year-old.
No, what I'm researching is skin print. What?
What?
Skin print?
Yes. Using this paint roller, I cover a person's entire body in ink, and then I push them over onto this large sheet of paper that we lay down in the middle of the room. A nomenclature.
Nomenclature.
Nomenclature of my own.
Nomenclature. I'm sure it'll be
Nomenclature.
A nomenclature of my own design, as is this chemical agent that makes it possible. It instantly reveals objects touched by whichever person is under investigation.
Brilliant, Mr. Sholmes.
Nomenclature.
Nope, there it is.
Yeah, thank you for verifying the American pronunciation.
What does it mean?
It's
Out of
just,
curiosity.
naming scheme.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't turn everything completely odorous and black.
I assure you, my dear fellows, you will witness my forensic talents in action very soon indeed.
It would be a great shame if your forensic talents were then summarily dismissed in court as not having sufficient
Uh,
science to bear in
yeah.
order to prove anything. But I don't
Where
know
have we
why
heard
that would happen.
before? Yeah.
Lord Baroque Van Zeeks. Yes, it's an interesting sobriquet he has, isn't it? Sobriquet?
I think sobriquet,
I
yeah.
think
Sobriquet.
sobriquet. Sobriquet he has, isn't it? The Reaper of the Bailey. Once the legendary prosecutor has fought for someone's conviction, that person is doomed. Even if he or she is found not guilty by the courts, sooner or later the hapless soul will vanish from the capital.
But vanish how, exactly?
When did you get an organ?
By falling under a passing
What you can't see is
carriage.
Iris off screen is just wheeled something out, and she's just pressing the keys with her goggles down.
Iris, this is not the time, my dear.
I was doing it for dramatic effect, that's all.
By falling under a passing carriage, or drowning in the Thames, or succumbing to a sudden fever, or, quite out of the blue, being set upon by a highwayman.
Wow.
There are numerous routes to one's final terminus, my dear fellow.
It all seems a little far-fetched, really.
Well, on the bright side, Mr. Moustache is fighting fit, for the time being at
Well,
least.
I mean, I'd use that fighting fit term lightly.
A lot of
'cause
people
I
do
think
refer to
he's-
him as round-backed, don't they?
Well, it's not. It's not even that. It's like, he's like cutting his life short by several years because he's worrying about every single thing. He's like scaring himself to death very slow. Don't you look at me like that.
Sarah, the prime warrior.
Meh.
That's not overly reassuring.
If the rumors are true, though, the obvious conclusion would surely be that those acquitted are, well, by Lord Van Zeek's own hand.
As it happens, Miss Susato, that is quite impossible.
Oh? Why?
Well, because he doesn't have any hands. Oh, but I jest. Naturally, the man very quickly came under such suspicion. However, whenever these incidents occurred, the Reaper always had a cast iron alibi.
Convenient.
In that he was always asleep in his coffin in the lower chambers.
That's made out of cast iron.
They
Padlocked shut by Lord Strongheart himself.
it's quite simple, really. They all happened in broad daylight, and as we know, you can't go out in the sunlight.
And every person was wearing a garland of garlic around them.
And carried a cross.
Really?
And so his reign continued. But 5 years ago, he vanished from the courts, never to appear as a prosecutor again. That is, until you arrived in the country, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, so I've heard.
Lucky me.
In fact, it was the very day I arrived when I was thrust into that trial at the Old Bailey. That bitter fight to the death coincided with the Reaper's resurrection. And really did end bitterly indeed.
And here you are, facing...
Oh, hey, you might say that the case wound up going up in flames.
And here you are, facing Mr. Reaper again.
Poor Bruno. I don't know if you're just incredibly unlucky or incredibly unlikable.
Oh,
Mean.
thanks.
I love you too, Iris.
I think it goes deeper than just me. I sense a general loathing. It's something probably in the way that he says, Nipponese. Of all Japanese people.
Oh, Japanese people.
Japanese people. With Mr. Natsume, who I'm currently defending, being Japanese as well as... who I'm currently defending being Japanese as well as Miss Susato and myself, I felt it even more keenly in court today. For some reason, Lord Van Zeek seems to have an inherent disdain of the Japanese.
Indeed. It is an interesting observation.
After my favorite anime was cut short in its prime, I have never forgiven.
I don't think they'll have had anime back then, Taylor. I imagine it after my
favorite manga.
After they told me that anime wasn't real.
Well, actually, the thing is, so One Piece probably started back in the 1600s, and it's just still running through today. So he'll have hit a dry spell in One Piece, right? He's like,
Yeah.
I really wanted to know what Luffy would do next, but it's been 5 long years.
I really wanted to know if King Vegeta would ever partner himself with Bulma. But I guess I shall never know.
I read the one passage about Goku powering up, and that's all it's been for this half-decade.
Incessant screaming.
His power level increases by 1 per manga.
Oh, God.
It is now 6,000
Oh.
and 93. Anyway.
Do you know something about it? Do you, Mr. Sholmes?
Well, who can say?
Mm-hmm.
It was about 10 years ago that Baroque Van Zeeks chose to enter the legal profession.
Oh, that's the debate, is whether it's Van Zeeks that's Edgeworth's ancestor or whether Kazuma is Edgeworth's ancestor. That's the debate.
I can see Van Zeeks being a Von Karma descendant.
I would argue Kazuma would be Edgeworth's.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing about Edgeworth is he comes across as like an asshole in the first one, but he's actually like good at heart, right?
Is that a gavel? Did we gavel that?
What? I don't think so.
It's not as egregious as the F-bomb.
As some of the others.
Yeah. I say bloody, so.
Anyway, he's not. Anyway, he's like I say, he's always kind of
He's
got.
a little bit of a softie at
He ends
heart.
up kind of having Nick's best interests at heart.
Yeah.
When it, especially with the latter games.
He's his buddy.
So I don't think so. Whereas Van Zeeks just seems to be full on like.
I hate everyone.
Yeah, I mean he's also got Van in his name. Van and Von are quite similar. I don't know.
They are nothing alike.
However, before that time, the young man's closest companion, young man, is Van Zeeks like 20 or something?
I can't remember.
I think he's 30.
Hailed from the Empire of Japan. Oh.
No!
Yes. What the? Tell us more, Mr. Sholmes. What happened? Boy, it sure would be strange if I were to learn all of this at the conclusion of the previous game, only to have this information rehashed for me at the point before I actually learned it in the last game, so I shouldn't have been shocked when I heard it in the previous game, but I was... Never mind.
It's not some relation to Kazuma, is it?
I believe I've made it clear before. I'm unable to tell you anything about the affair, as it would cause some kind of time paradox.
Yeah. Oh, but...
The veil will be lifted on the events of the past in due course. I have no doubt. For now, however, it is Mr. Moustache who is most deserving of your attention, I believe.
How old is Susato's dad?
50, Mr.
Like
Mikotaba.
59?
I couldn't honestly say, I guess. Varrock von Zeeks is 32, but we obviously don't have
Oh, we haven't got him.
Mikotaba in here.
I want to say he's like in his late 50s or early 60s, I think.
Are you thinking it's him?
Well, because he made a point of saying that he studied in the Empire of Japan once upon a time, right?
Oh, oh, yeah, he did go. Yeah, he said he went abroad,
So
didn't he?
could this whole thing be that Makotoba was his or Mikotoba was his mentor?
No,
or
it's
something?
It is Makotoba. You were right the first
Oh,
time.
Makotoba was his mentor, and then just abandoned him, which is then also related to why he was being cagey with Susato before all of this happened. Because if you'll remember, he was also friends with the judge, which wouldn't really
Yeah.
make sense if he was just a researcher.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to mark this down for posterity in case I had a big brain moment. Anyway. Well, I think we should go back to the scene and see if we can uncover any clues, any new clues.
That's the spirit, Runo. See you later.
Yes, until later.
Oh, don't both jump up to help me at once. No, Mr. Sholmes. We were thinking you'd come with us, although I have no idea
no,
why.
but you see, I
Did you now?
I have a terribly important missing shoelace that I
Missing
must
shoelace?
locate. You were?
Yes, of course. You said so just a moment ago. You said we'd witness your forensic talents in action?
Ah, yes. I do recall saying something along those lines.
I believe that you believe I
But-
said that, Mr. Maracuda.
But you go on ahead. I shall be sure to follow you later. In all likelihood. Probably. Maybe. Well, I might.
Depends on the weather, and if I get invested in this book up in Your commitment astounds me.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. We'll eagerly await your arrival.
Yes, well, don't await too eagerly.
Bye-bye, Runo. Bye, Susie.
Get out of my house, please.
Right, well,
Your house, my dear. I think you'll find who's the one who pays the rent.
That would be me,
I
Hurley.
am.
right, Miss Green's hospital bed.
Ah, but you wouldn't have any money if I didn't give you ample material, now would you? There's Mr. Raddington.
Miss Green's left a bag. Now, guys, let's not go rifling through it again. What do you suppose this is happening? It sounds like some sort of disturbance.
Yes, I hear angry voices.
Well, I don't hear him. You're alone there, sir. Oh,
Oh no!
oh no.
Be not angry, O ample lady. Verily thou art mistaken.
If it's not bee puns, it's art puns now.
My goodness, what hast I done to anger thou so?
Mistaken my foot. You were looking at my painting.
I think that's the voice I gave for
I think so.
The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen.
Oh, I don't like it. You're too tall. I don't like it. Can you kneel down a bit?
'Twas foul indeed, the poison that mustached villain gaveth me. Forgive me, lady.
Oh, wish you died from that poison.
Oh dear.
Well, that seems a bit aggressive. God a mercy, ample lady. But thou seest, I have vigor still. Behold my Shamspeare dance!
Oh my God. Mr. Shamspeare, I would ask you to refrain from jumping about. The floor might cave in.
I have no words for this. I just have no words. Also, are they bells?
Has my adroitness in dance taken your breath away, good
So
sir?
yeah, he's probably sounding like Santa's sleigh
I
right
guess
about
yeah,
now.
he's like rattling like
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
gosh.
This looks rather ominous, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's like it's that thing. It's like it's like rooms with ominous auras or whatever.
Shamspeare can't hurt you.
Oh,
Aha!
that was abrupt.
Oh,
Jesus.
there it is.
I have noticed you. Ah, lo, 'tis the lawyer from the land whence riseth the sun. How now, lawman? What are you doing here, Mr. Shamspeare? Mary, I do believe I am returned unto another ward.
He was looking. That's what he was
no.
doing. He looking at my terrible work.
Uh-oh. Eastern fellow, so dark ye clad. So dark ye clad?
Ye clad, yeah.
You clad.
Ye clad. Faith, thy work in court this morning was wonderful. I do applaud thee. Oh, well, thank you.
Oh!
Woohoo! But
It'll have been made out of, like, a really,
Plasticine.
Really... Yeah,
Yeah.
plasticine. It's
Styrofoam.
plasticine.
that doesn't mean things will go down so wonderfully for you tomorrow, does it? Oh dear, Miss Susato, I think I dropped something on the... Oh, now look what...
Oh, look,
he's,
you've
that's
made
it.
me...
He's perfectly straight.
I've had to straighten out my rod.
Anon, exunt!
Swat. Goodbye.
I don't know what to make of any of that.
No.
All I got that he's now going to exit. That's it.
But is it stage right or left?
Who knows?
Mr. Shamspeare might technically be the victim in this case, but there's definitely a lot more to it than that. It's very hard to pin the man down.
He's when he's jumping around like a blooming rabbit. I'm so sorry. I'm such an awful person.
Ah, Miss Green, is everything all right?
Oh, yes. I mean, don't worry about me. They're about to discharge me, so I must get ready to leave now.
Oh, I see.
We're delighted that you'll soon be well enough to go home, Miss Green.
Oh dear, you're too kind. I don't deserve it.
It's like Nagito
In the
again.
self-deprecation game, who wins, Nagito or Olive Green?
I was literally
Put
just
your
thinking-
comment down below.
Round one, fight!
I was literally just thinking, like, oh my god, it's Nagito again. Lady Nagito.
Don't worry, Miss Green. You can't possibly be any worse than I am.
Oh, excuse me, who are you? I've never seen you before.
Could you please
So are
leave?
you
You're making me feel uncomfortable.
Will you stop looking through my stuff? I've already had somebody else, some other Japanese fella looking through my stuff. Don't need another one.
Oh dear, left the stove on. So are you feeling more like yourself today, Miss Green?
Oh, I am. Thank you. I mean, people who do recover from ordeals like this, don't they? Even people like me.
Well, yes. It really was an ordeal, wasn't it?
As far as I was concerned, I was just walking along in the snow one evening, minding my own business. And then, completely out of the blue, I was struck in the back by a knife and collapsed unconscious for days. Of course, when I finally woke up again yesterday, my whole business had been cleared up already.
What a terrible week it's been for you.
Oh no, I'm sure I'm very lucky, really. I look back on this fondly.
Really?
Anyway, I must be getting more things together now, so I'm ready to be discharged.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry to take up your time when you're obviously busy.
It's all right, just don't up through my stuff again, that's all. That's all I ask.
Well, it's got a tick on it.
Can we look at the painting?
No.
No.
You're just
Again,
as bad as
we're going to
she-
get to the end of this, and it's going to be that the painting is really good. She just has no self-confidence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the artist's curse, isn't it?
Is it? Can we not go over? There's nothing on the other side, is there?
Oh, sorry. Examine. We can examine
Examine.
those things.
Examine those.
Oh, there's also.
There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that?
If you were a patient here, I feel sure you'd take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
That is a worry. But at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one.
Oh, I've no doubt you managed to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
Not Susato. This is such bullying.
There are limits even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Miss Susato. There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet. Look, I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this.
Oh, don't worry. They're all filled with water anyway.
Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two.
Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you break the lock.
I feel like we've had this conversation not too long ago. Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Miss Susato. Ah, this looks like the treatment notes for whoever's occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital.
The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so...
He or she is probably running around the hospital then.
Oh dear, how worrying.
What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet.
Is that Shamspeare?
Maybe. Okay, so let's move on again. Mr. Shamspeare's room.
Actually, before we go, does Olive have any other dialogue options?
We can't talk to her.
Oh, can we not? Okay.
We can examine
I thought we
her
could
again,
examine
but
her.
then she literally spoke to us and then was like, oh, you know,
Yeah, she
go
needs to
away.
get ready to go.
So,
I'm just going to sit on my bed and wait
so do we go?
for the walls to close in.
I feel like Shamspeare's is the obvious place. I'm just wondering if
Yeah.
we sort of mosey around the other bits for now, or whether we go straight there and stop messing.
Ah, my audience doth follow me to mine abode. Pray, worst thou hoping for a show?
February. Mr. Natsume's lodging.
I feel that floorboard's got to come in. Oh, there he is.
Oh, hello again, Inspector Gregson.
What are you doing here? Oh, wait, no, I know. You've come to try to find some evidence to make me look a fool in court again, haven't you? Yeah, can fool Gregson once. Yeah, can fool Gregson twice. But if you try to fool him 3 times, he's liable to catch on at least a little bit.
It does seem to be a common trend, my dear fellow, doesn't it? Making Scottish Yard look like a bunch of amateurs.
Oh, when the bloody hell did you get here? Thought you were off doing something with your shoelace.
I've been following Mr. Naruhodo. I said that I would appear eventually.
My dear fellow, I never left this place. I've been in the gas meter this entire time.
In the gas meter. I squeezed out the tiny hole.
I want to imagine that what's going to happen is we're going to get to a certain point, and then we're going to pan over, and then Herlock is going to be perched on the gas meter like a gargoyle. It's just like, Mr.
Like a little
Sholmes,
gremlin.
what are you doing over there? I'm testing the durability of this device. Well, we were hoping to have another look around, actually.
Oh, and I've been hoping for a 20% pay raise, but guess what's not liable to happen in either case?
The lawyer representing the defendant has a right to examine the scene, as I'm sure you're aware.
The defendant has a right to examine the scene, as I'm sure you're aware. I don't care. Yeah, I know the score.
Inspector Gregson.
Goodness me.
Inspector Gregson.
I think somebody got out of bed on the wrong side this morning. He's got a stick up his butt.
Inspector Gregson, you like your fish and chips, don't you? Well, don't give me an excuse to knock out your teeth, so you can't enjoy them
Oh
anymore.
no.
I may have a bit of a stronger Susato takedown, especially for you.
A Susato knockout.
Susato takedown level 2.
The
Yeah.
Susato haymaker. Or the
Suplex.
The Susato suplex. Yes.
Spinning up her arm like Donkey Kong. Oh, yes, one other thing. The soap on the ledge outside the window. Did you find it? Was with the tea in it?
I have to do one more. I know it's late. The Susato Shoryuken.
Show you.
Yeah. Yeah, we found it all right, and there was a small amount of tea in it, as you said.
I knew it!
It's with the identification section at the yard now. They're looking into it. The results should be available later today.
That's wonderful news. Thank you.
While we're in court, do you mean?
Yeah. We're like on the wires, ready for like the final verdict. Hold it! Here's the report.
And you're wrong, it turns out.
Yeah, there's no.
Damn!
There wasn't any strychnine in it.
There was actually strychnine! Pretty impressive performance in court this morning. Sorry? Nothing. Forget it. Just make sure you don't disturb anything in here.
Was that?
My God, I was
that-
nearly nice for a minute.
was that
Bloody hell!
Was that a compliment I detected there, Mark?
That sounds like slander to me, you namby-pamby goggle hat wearing knob.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Not quite in the meter, but still.
I mean, you knew it would,
When the hell did he get here?
you knew it was going to happen. Right, let's have a look at the meter.
Oh, so you did
I
decide
have
to grace us with
disguised
your
myself cleverly.
presence.
If you ran out of change, you wouldn't have any light, let alone heat. Although, to be honest, there is... Oh, I suppose there's that candle. For the needy, London's winters can be very harsh. I've just stubbed my toe.
Well,
This is not a bit. I actually did.
You stopped your
I
toe.
was thinking, like, what are you doing?
So I knocked my toe on the table where I have my mic stuff. It's just like... the pinky toe as well.
Oh, the worst
I hate
one.
that's the worst. That's the worst toe you can stub. Sorry, I wasn't. I was like, do you mean you, or do you mean Naruhodo and you're doing a bit?
No, I was just trying to
Sorry.
remain in character while I was dealing with my stub toe.
Well, I commend your skills, sir.
You know, stubbing one's toe, it always reminds me of something I overheard when I was travelling to university one day. I was on the tram going to university, and I overhear some people talking, and it's this lad talking to his friend, and he's saying about how his wife was pregnant in the hospital, and she was giving birth to the child and whatnot. And he was like, he had like basically very little sympathy for her. And she's like, oh yeah, this is really, really painful. And he says, painful? You know nothing of pain. Haven't you ever stubbed your toe before? Needless to say, she wasn't very impressed with him. And it's like,
I think that was the end.
And that
of
presumably is why
relationship.
he was on the tram, because he'd been thrown out of the house and is trying to leave the country to avoid being murdered by his wife.
I don't know. I just overheard that. I was just like, I kind of just couldn't believe it.
Oh my God.
It's so weird.
That reminds me of an ancient meme I saw from the 2000s, where
God.
it was like,
Now you're showing her age.
when a woman is giving birth, she feels a fraction of the pain that a man has when he has a cold.
Jesus. These are the kind of guys that need to be hooked up to that actual like machine that like simulates contractions and see how well they do.
Just electrocute him for a bit.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't think those relationships lasted long.
Probably not.
That's true. But if you think about it, even the wealthy would find themselves freezing if they ran out of small change.
London's winters can be very harsh for the forgetful too, then. Frankly, I'm starting to wonder if Susato-san and I are going to make it to spring.
Oh dear.
That's true. We don't even have a meter at Baker Street, let alone a gas stove.
What on earth do they use then?
Look how dark the stain on the floor is underneath the meter there.
It's making
You should have used a cup or something.
Oh yes, it looks like the wood is rotting away.
Yes, from all the water dripping out after the ice coins melted, as you established in court this morning.
Oh dear, I've already forgotten. It's a very large and obvious stain, isn't it?
Mr. Shamspeare must have used an awful lot of ice coins, I suppose.
It was an ingenious idea, I'll give him that.
Well, thank you, good sir.
Oh, and it's right next to the stove as well. So in terms of for it melting and whatnot. Yeah, makes sense. Look at the bar of soap, I guess.
Like, he literally had a pot right there that he could have just put under there to catch the water.
Exactly.
And then he could have put it on the stove and, opened the lid, and then the water would have evaporated out. It's the perfect crime.
So it turns out that Mr. Shamspeare wasn't eating the soap at all.
That's right. The mystery of why he had it on a plate whilst holding a fork in his hand is solved.
Yes, to prize his latest ice coin out of its mold. And in the process, he accidentally broke the bar of soap in two.
I think you'll find that he was actually quite hungry. And he was having a little light snack. Obviously.
It certainly was hard to imagine, let alone deduce, I say, looking slowly towards Sherlock.
Towards who, sorry? I don't know who you mean.
Ah, yes, this is most curious, because in my understanding of the Emperor's tale, he has no clothes at all.
No.
And yet they seem to be here right now.
No, to what I'm referring is, you mentioned somebody called Sherlock, my dear fellow, and I'm afraid I...
No, I know, I got what you were doing. I was just doing a separate joke.
Oh, I see. You were failing to acknowledge...
Mr. Sholmes, what are you up to over there?
Oh, don't mind me.
What a question indeed. Was it not your good self who asked me to attend the scene?
Oi! What are you doing here, Sholmes?
What are you up to over there? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Dear me, once a great detective, one is always under scrutiny, it seems.
Is now the time, Mr. Sholmes? Are you about to show us your forensic talents in action, as you promised?
With the greatest of pleasure, my dear madam.
I just had to have Iris finish making what I had asked her to.
Oh.
What's all this?
No.
All this is precisely what you requested, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh!
Herlock Sholmes' sensational skin print seeker gun.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh no. Oh no.
Moments ago, I took a sample from the teacup that was used by the victim.
a sample from Mr. Shamspeare's cup.
Each individual leaves microscopic secretions on everything he or she touches.
That sounds disgusting.
A sample of those secretions is all I need to produce this, a refined indicator solution. By liberally spraying the room with this chemical,
Wait, what?
everything the victim touched is instantly revealed with the aid of these goggles. Here, try them on.
Oh.
There, now, spray the chemical indicator about, and all will be revealed.
But will all be revealed.
But will?
Will be revealed.
I don't know, will it?
I don't know. We're going to have to find out next time, Sunshine.
No, but we've just got to be...
I know. I don't dictate. I can't freeze time. I'm not a time shifter.
Oh, if only.
I'm sorry.
Curses.
Unfortunately, we will have to find out what Mr. Sholmes' new invention can do next time. But in the meantime, if you do like what we do, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and you get notified of our video uploads every Wednesday and Saturday, and leave a comment down below. Tell us what you think. Are you enjoying it so far? Who's your favourite character? Anything like that. Any facts? We do like to read them.
Yeah.
And until next time, we'll see you again.
See you in the next one, everybody.
And remember, if you ever find yourself at a party and aren't sure what moves to use, you can always do the Shamspeare dance.
The Shamspeare shot.